How's it going, people? Welcome back to another new episode of The Scenes, and thank you for tuning in again. So I think I'm really bad person because many of my subscribers are beginners, but I keep posting like, how to get this look, blah blah. Okay, I was wrong. I should have made like, basic DaVinci Resolve, guide for beginners, like the tour and DaVinci Resolve, how to use tools, like from the start to export, like how to use tools and what is gain, gamma, left, what is Skintone, what is qualifier. I mean, how to start using DaVinci Resolve. So today I'm gonna show you guys all footsteps to export from opening DaVinci Resolve. And of course, very basic color grading tutorial. Okay, so let's start DaVinci Resolve 17, the basic guide for beginners. Okay, really from zero, so this is my desktop. So first, I'm gonna open the DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so once you open the DaVinci Resolve for the first time, you're gonna see it like this. Well, obviously I have a bunch of data, but you have probably nothing. But basically it's same. Only you have right now is this local database, but we're not gonna use that. You wanna make your own file and place it somewhere somewhere safe. I already have mine, but let's do it together. So first I'm gonna create a new file on a desktop. So name it whatever you like. So I'm gonna do like a TS15, the scenes 15, like test, something like that. So this is my like a DaVinci Resolve like database file. So everything will go to here. And in Resolve, just create a new database and make sure it's disk and name whatever you like. Maybe KA DaVinci Resolve database, something like this, and select the location you want to save it. So obviously I'm gonna select this file TS15 test, which I created. So I'm gonna select it and create. So now you just create a database. You're ready to use DaVinci Resolve and create a new project and name whatever you like, TS15 test, and create. And now welcome to DaVinci Resolve. So first, let me quickly explain about each station. So this one is called media pool. So you can import footage here. Also, you can create the bin, which is like a file to manage footages. So this is what you can do in media pool. Basically, just import footages and manage them. And this is cut station, obviously, where you can cut footage. And this is the main station, which is edit. Well, it's like a Premiere or Final Cut, timeline. This is where you can do a lot of stuff like cut and effects. If you edit a whole video, this station will be where you spend most of the time. But I still use a Premiere for editing, so I'm gonna skip this. So this station is called Fusion. So this is like a After Effects. So this one is color page, which is our home or our war zone. Anyway, this is where magic happens. I'm gonna come back here later and deep dive into that. And this one is Fairlight, where you edit audio, and this one is Deliver, where you export video. Okay, first let's make a project setting. So hit this little thing and you're gonna see like this. So first, timeline resolution, I'm gonna choose 4K 3840 by 2160 Ultra HD, and the timeline resolution is 23.976, not 24. This, and here I'm only changing the video bit depth. So if you use 8-bit camera like Sony A7III, just choose 8-bit. But today I'm gonna deal with a 10-bit footage, so I'm gonna choose 10-bit and no change rest of them. And image scaling just stay as is, and color management, well, color science, DaVinci YRGB and color space and Rec 709. Well, standard color space setting, so no change. And rest of them staying as is. And at the general options, just make sure you check use S-curve for contrast. That's it. And camera raw, skip it. This one, skip it, skip it, skip it. That's it. So save it. Change project frame rate, change. So now we created a project, timeline, ready for use DaVinci Resolve. So anyway, let's import footage. Well, I don't use media pool for importing footage. I use this edit page. You can do pretty much the same thing. So right click and import media. and choose what you have to choose. I'm gonna import my footages. Change project frame rate. Don't change, because you know what, this footage is 25 FPS, but I wanna do 24 FPS, like timeline frame rate. So I'm gonna, stay, don't change. So once you import footages, just select those and drag it on to the timeline. Now those footages are available for editing and color grading. So let's jump to color page finally. So first, let me take you to the quick tour in this color page. So let's go from here. So you can see whole timeline and clips by those. And also you can turn off node here. And from this open effects, you can access to many effects. So let's go to left side. So this gallery is what you use a lot. So this is where you can import image, which means, for example, now you want to copy some movie's look and you want to express the look by this footage. And let's say you have the screenshot of that movie. So I'm gonna import some of like image, for example, this. I'm gonna import this and select this and hit this little window, and now you can display this image on this screen, and you can move it like this. And by watching this reference image, you can do the color grading. You can copy this look. Also, you can do like this too. Okay, let's say you done with color grading with this footage. Okay, I'm gonna do quickly, for example. Okay, I finished color grading this, but I want to copy this look to another clip, which is here. So I'm going to right click on this footage and grab still. Now you have this look, and go to another clip and right click on this, on this image and apply grade. See, now you just copied this look and paste on this image, this clip. So this is how the gallery works. And here you can select scope, like parade, waveform, vector scope, histogram. But I think this RGB parade is enough for, for the first time. So I'm gonna display right here. And those actual color grading tools, I'm gonna explain how to use them later, but not every single one, because it's gonna take forever. So I'll focus on the most used tool. I'm gonna show you guys how to use them later when I color grade this footage. So nothing will start unless you know the node system of Resolve. So this node system is, I think it's a huge difference compared to Premiere Pro or Final Cut. Basically, it's similar to Photoshop. It's a layer. So you will be adding, one node for one function, and one node, one function, and goes on. So it's like a layer, but complicated thing is DaVinci Resolve has 5 different kinds of nodes, like serial before, parallel, layer, outside. So this must be, the tricky one when you, start DaVinci Resolve for the first time. What to use and how to use. So let me explain the features of each node. But even though there are 5 nodes, actually you will end up using only 3 nodes, which is serial and parallel, and layer, those 3. So first, serial node. Okay, this is serial node, but just in case, I'm gonna add one more. So just right click on this and add node serial, or if you're using Mac, Option and S. So this serial node is most basic one. It's just simple normal layer. For example, you made the contrast on first node. Like I said, one function on one node. So I'm gonna make a contrast on this node, just for demonstration. Okay, I'm gonna do like this. Now I made a contrast on the first node. And now I want to do saturation. I want to add saturation because this is log footage. So instead of adding saturation on the same node with contrast, I will do the saturation here at the next node. So I'm just gonna add saturation just like this. So the reason why I did saturation on the different node, not the same node with contrast, that you can see how each affect to the image. So I can turn off the saturation. Now I can see the only contrast, and I can do like a adjustment, like maybe a little bit more contrast, a little bit like a, you know, darker the shadow, something like this. And again, turn on the saturation, something like this. And once you're done with saturation, you can add another serial node and start doing something different. So this is how the serial node works. So next, parallel node. So this node is not that different from serial node, but how it looks is different. So I'm gonna create one more serial node, and on this, right click, add node, and parallel. So this looks like this. For the first glance, it's kind of like confusing, but actually the system is very simple. So well, in Resolve, well, it depends on how hard you color grade, but sometimes one image has a lot of nodes like this. So obviously, this is really hard to see, hard to manage. When there are so many nodes, the parallel node works so powerful. So the parallel node can make several nodes together in one group. So basically you can do like this, or you can add more. So this node and this node will be, you know, blended together and they're sent to next node. But important thing is they are equal. No matter what you do on each node, they will be blended together like 50-50, like equal. So this is important, so just remember this. So when you use this, so like I did before, I'm gonna make a contrast on the first node, something like this, and also do the saturation on next node, like this. And about this saturation, I want to do like a couple of more. Maybe I need a 1 or 2 more nodes for saturation. So when that, you can use parallel node. But, you know, also you can do like this, saturation and saturation 2, saturation 3, you can do like this. I think it's much easier to, you know, see if you know, make them in one group. So I'm gonna do like a parallel node. So this is all about saturation, not other. So on this node, I added saturation, right? So on this saturation number 2, probably I will do like, you know, shift the color of position to kind of warm side, just like this. And on number 3, I can do like create a look, like shifting the shadow, something like this, and the boost, mid-tone, some like a, you know, film look. So those 3 nodes, I mean 3 things I did are blended to next equally. So basically they're got together in one group instead of being like this, you know, just 3 serial nodes. You can manage them like in one group like this using, you know, parallel nodes. Now it's much easier to see and edit again. You know, I can know those 3 are about saturation. So basically this is how the parallel node works. So the last one is layer node. But basically this looks pretty much same as parallel node. So this is layer node, this is parallel node. It's pretty much same, but how it works is different. The huge difference between the layer node and parallel node is in layer node, the bottom node is prioritized. So when do we use this? So for example, let's say I made a contrast on the first node and the saturation on second node. So this process is called primary process. Like make a basic contrast and saturation, you know, making this lock image ready for color grading. So this is the primary process. But hey, you have some look that you want to express by this, you know, by this footage, by this scene. Or you want to edit only her face, only this jacket, only this curtain, only this, you know, cup. You're gonna do that process after this primary, which is called secondary. So the layer node is so useful when you do the secondary process. So contrast, saturation, and add one more serial node. And on this node, create layer node. So on this node, I'm gonna make a look. So I'm gonna shift the shadow to blue. Okay, hey, nothing is changing. See, no matter how I move this, the image doesn't change at all. So now this bottom node is as is. It's just same as contrast saturation. So as soon as I turn off this node, by the way, you can turn off node, Command D, or just hit this number. This upper node will be applied. I mean, what I did on this upper node will be applied. So basically layer node is so useful when you want to change and adjust a small part of, you know, all. Like the popular use of layer node is for skin tone. So I'm gonna show you how layer node works more. So I'm gonna turn off this bottom node and I'm gonna make look this upper node. Just some like, you know, standard like a teal and orange, like a film look, something like this. Okay, before, after. Now I made a look on this upper node, and now I want to edit her skin, but also I want to remain the look I created. I don't want to change except her face. So that's when you need to use layer node. So I'm gonna turn on this node. Now it back to the, you know, saturation node, because this bottom comes first. And in this node, I'm gonna select only her face. So don't worry, I'm gonna explain this later, but let me just do this, you know, for, you know, demonstration. I'm just gonna select her skin and do what I have to do, something like this, and maybe change her like skin a little bit. See, no matter what I do, only her face is changing, right? Nothing is changing here, just her face, something like this. So let's do before and after. So this is before, after, right? Only her face is changing, you know, remaining the look I created on this node, which is this, before, after. So like this, we still have the look that we created on this upper node, but on the bottom node, only her skin was pulled out from the all and was edited. So this is how layer node works. So just remember this, in layer node, the bottom is prioritized. Okay, now I hope you guys understand the node system. So let's color grade this footage. So this time I'm gonna go very basic and minimalism way. So first I will make a contrast on this node and saturation on this node. So this is gonna be a look and layer node. So this is for skin, and add one more. So I think I'm gonna do the adjustment. So basically this two is primary and this two is secondary, and the last one is, you know, the final adjustment. So remember this node tree. This is gonna be your standard node tree too. So first, let's do the contrast. So to make a contrast, I always use this contrast slider. So by moving it, you can add more contrast or lower the contrast. So I'm gonna add contrast, just like this. And also this pivot is so related to contrast. So it can move the total brightness with the contrast range still. So watch this parade and image. So even though I go lower, higher, this contrast range is not changing. So I'm gonna go a little bit lower number to make this image a little bit brighter. Just like this. So from here, using those wheels, which is called primaries, we're gonna deep dive into the contrast. So first, this offset, you know, this decides the total brightness. So as you can see, the parade, you know, total brightness is changing, just like this. So it's like a master control of all, and those wheels gain, gamma, lift. So basically, no matter which you move, the total brightness will change. So if I move this gain, you know, it's changing. But how we change the image is different. So gain affects the highlight area most, like this. You see this in line, in upper line, are moving, right? But also the total brightness is changing, but this affects the highlight most. And gamma affects the middle area most around her face. So watch carefully this parade. So this highlight areas are changing also, but this affects the middle area most, right? And this lift affects the shadow area most. So if I go down, it goes down, and if I go up, it goes up. But both of middle and highlight areas are not changing that much compared to gamma and gain. So you can't make the perfect contrast with only, you know, this contrast slider. So using those wheels, adjust each areas. So first I'm gonna do the offset. I'm gonna make it brighter. And I want to reduce this highlight area a little bit, so bring this gain down. There is a huge gap between the bottom and this line. You know, the shadow is kind of faded. I want to make it more darker, so I'm gonna, you know, bring this lift down. So let's stop right here. But definitely it's dark, especially this face. I mean the middle area. So middle area, so gamma. I'm gonna use gamma. I'm gonna bring this up. Maybe do the adjustment on lift. Okay, good. So offset, gain, gamma, lift. Each of them is working differently. Okay, like this. So this is before, after, before, after. So on the second node, I will add saturation like I did before. So using this saturation slider, if you go up, you gain saturation. If you go down, you lose saturation. So I will go up. Yeah, just like this. So as soon as we gain saturation, we can see the problem here. Like it feels this image is, too red, too pink, right? As you can see the parade, this tells, the red is pushing a little bit forward, compared to green and blue. So how we can make this balanced? So we're gonna use also primaries for this, but not this brightness control. You can actually move this point and also move the color itself like this. So actually how it works is same as contrast. The gain for up and gamma is for middle and lift is for, low. In this case, we want to reduce the red on upper area, right? So we're using gain. So looking at the image and parade, I'm gonna make this red balanced with green and blue. So I'm gonna shift this gain to maybe blue, just like this. Yeah, see, it's already good. Yeah, looks good. So now this upper area lined up very clearly and the image looks also good. Okay, now I want to add a little bit like yellow orange feel on her face around this area, which is the middle area. So I'm gonna use this gamma and shift it to like yellow a little bit. I'm gonna stop right here. And also using this temperature, so this controls the color temperature from blue to orange. So if I go like a negative side, the image is changing to kind of blue, and if I go positive side, the image is changing to like red, warm side. So to add more yellow, nice, creamy, light vibes, I'm gonna do like maybe plus 40 or 50, just like this, getting more like yellow vibes to this image. So this is before, after, before, after. So next, let's make a look on this node. So I don't want to change huge. Only I need is a small adjustment of colors. I need a detail control of it. So when you need it, these log wheels are working so good. Basically they work like, primaries, but they move so small. If I move mid-tone, right? It's changing, gradually small, right? Highlight. See, only this part. Shadow, like this. So it moves smaller than primaries. So because of that, we can do the detail adjustment of colors and the brightness, the contrast. So what I want to do here is basically it's like, the standard teal and orange. If you're interested in the look, here's a video for you. So first I'm going to turn off this bottom layer node because this is prioritized. So nothing will changing as long as this is on. So I'm going to turn off and start create the look on this node. So watch carefully around this shadow area. I'm gonna shift them to blue. Now it's kind of faded to like a red pink side, so I'm gonna reduce that feel. Gain more blue. Just like this. See? Before, after, huge difference, right? Now this black is, crispy, solid, so cool. And the reason why I moved this mid-tone to orange side is, of course, mid-tone is related to the skin tone, face, color. So I don't wanna, any kind of blue, weird blue, green, pink on her face. I wanna like legit orange, yellow feel. And also I wanna make this image like very, warm, like yellow, like orange feel. So that's why I move this mid-tone to orange side. So I'm gonna move this. Yeah, something like this. And to make this window light more creamier, help the orange on mid-tone, I'm going to move this highlight to yellow. Looking good. So before, after, before, after. Now this scene got a certain vibes, like very cinematic. So this is layer node. So that means this bottom is for skin tone. Now I'm gonna turn it on. Now the image is back because this one is prioritized. I didn't do anything on this node. So here I want to select only her skin and edit it to kind of brighter and more like a natural, like a blood red color. So to do that, you need to use qualifier. So this qualifier allows you to choose a specific color and you can edit only that color. But this time I think it's gonna be difficult to select only her skin color because her skin, jacket, and this couch and those red curtain are sharing same orange and red, but only what I need is the yellow and red of her skin, of her face. But no matter how hard you try to select only her skin, this jacket and this couch are also selected. I don't need those. So when this happens, this window is so effective. So this allows you to cover the specific area and everything you do will be applied on that covered area. So if I boost this curve, only this area is changing. So this is how the window works. So it has rectangle, circle, and pen tool. I'm gonna use this circle to cover her face. Adjust size and position to cover her face, but her face keeps moving during the scene, right? Now it's out of this window, so we have to track it. Don't worry, Resolve has amazing AI tracking system. So first I'm gonna pose at the first position. Actually, the beginning is kind of distracting and also her face is not moving that much, so I think I'm gonna start from here. I'm gonna pose right here and adjust the window size and position. Make sure her face is covered by this window. And what I have to do is just hit the play. And this AI tracking system is tracking her face nicely, accurately, very good. Okay, I think it's perfect. So if it's not perfect, you have to do it frame by frame. So switch from clip to frame and just one frame forward and adjust this, and one frame forward, adjust the position, one frame forward, adjust the position. You have to do this, but this time it's pretty much working perfectly. So I don't need to do that. So now the situation is like this. Only this window area is editable. So on the same node, I'm gonna use qualifier again to select only her face. Now it's much easier because of this mask. So first click this button or Shift+H to highlight the selected area and click on her face, sample her face. So now except this gray white area, it's selected. And by using luminance, saturation, and hue, we're gonna find a good spot that we can select only her face. Well, about this, there is no like magic tip or technique. Basically using those threes and moving a point from low to high, try to select her skin. So just try a lot and get used to it. But I will show you the process. I think this is fine. It's not perfect, but I guess it'll work. So once you select it, let's get rid of noises by adding denoise. See, now it's more clear. And also blur radius, those edges more softer. Something like this. Okay, now pulling the skin tone out from the all is done. So hit this button to, go back to this normal. So what I want to do is making her face more brighter and giving the red a little bit on the face. So first, let's go to curve. This is completely the same as Premiere Pro, Final Cut, Photoshop, Lightroom, just normal curve. I'm just gonna grab this center point and going up. Just like this. See, only her face is changing. So I'm just gonna bring it up. Let's see, we gotta do like this. So before, after. Also using this mid-tone detail, which allows you to add more like a softness. So I'm just gonna go lower. Okay, watch carefully her face. If I go higher, her face will be sharp. Only this area. If I go down, her face will be softer. So I will make her face a little bit softer. So I will do like maybe -25. All good. Okay. Also right next to the curve, hue versus hue, hue versus saturation, and hue versus luminance. Here you can edit color separately. For example, in hue versus hue, I can change the position of color. For example, I will select the red and moving the upward. See, her face color is changing to the purple, and if I go down, her face is changing to a green like this. You can change the position of each colors. So like I said before, I want to make her face a little bit shifted to kind of human natural red side. So I'm going to select her skin like this and moving this point to upward, giving the red feel. What about this? Before, after, before, after. Yeah, looks good. Also going to hue versus saturation. Here you can add and reduce the saturation of each colors. So I want to reduce the saturation from her face. So I'm going to make points on red and yellow, and I'm gonna bring them down. If I bring it down, it loses the color. If I go up, it gains the color. So I'm gonna do like this. So this is before, after, before, after. Before it's too yellow because we pushed the mid-tone so hard on this look node here. Face was also shifted to orange, but after the skin tone fixing process, it looks good. It looks much more natural. So basically that was the secondary process. We made a look and also we fixed her skin. So now we're done with primary process and secondary process. At the last, let's do the final adjustment. So let's see, I think I want to emphasize this window light. I want to make it like a spotlight. So let's go to window tool, and this time I'm going to select this pen tool. So this allows you to draw like this. Draw whatever you like, but I'm going to draw the spotlight to her face just like this, and going to curve again, and I'm going to grab this middle and bring it up a little bit. Let's do like this. You see there is a triangle spotlight, but now obviously the edges are harsh. So going back to window and this softness, soft 1, and bring this number up and make it softer. Okay, now it's very natural. Okay, so this is before, after, before, after. See, the good spotlight from the window is hitting on her. Well, actually, let's make a parallel node here. So add node and parallel. And I just want to do one more adjustment, but instead of making a serial node, let's use parallel node. So now I don't like this faded block, and I want make this dark area more solid and sharper black. I just want to move only this bottom part. I want to move them a little bit lower. So small adjustment of light. What do we use? Of course, log. And especially which area we deal with, the dark, this lower area, so shadow. So we're gonna use log shadow. So I'm going to bring this down. See, now image is getting more sharp, solid, cool black, especially this area, and it's completely crushed, but it's okay. I like this. So this is before, kind of faded, but after, more punchy, contrasty image, which is my favorite. Okay, so now red highlight is pushed a little bit compared to green and blue, because we did like this, pushing highlight to like a yellow orange side. So I'm going to reduce it, like make it balanced. So if you go up, you gain highlights, and if you go down, reduce highlights. So using this highlight slider, I'm gonna lower it with this line, but not too much, maybe like this. Is fine. Okay, this is it. I'm gonna turn off all of this, and let me take you to the journey of all processes we did to get this look from this log flat image. Go. Okay guys, almost there. We have to export this footage. So let's jump to deliver. So first we want to select 8264 master and name it whatever you like, TS15 test, and browse. So I'm just gonna select the desktop, save it, and make sure you check export video. And format is QuickTime if you are Mac user, and if you're Windows, just select MP4, but I'm using Mac, so I'm gonna select QuickTime. And codec is same, 8264, and no change here, and resolution no change, frame rate no change, and quality change to restrict to 80,000 for high quality. And encoding profile is high, and let's open this advanced setting. So only what you have to change is gamma tag. Just select Rec 719, this, and check those two things for high quality. Highest quality, highest quality. Okay, that's it for this page. And if you need audio, just check this, export audio, but I don't need it, so uncheck it. Okay, that's it. So add to the render queue, and this goes to here, and if everything is okay, just hit render, and now done. The process is done. Okay, welcome back. You finally made it. You just achieved color grading in DaVinci Resolve from zero. If you haven't tried it yet, I'm sure you can do it with this guide. I used a popular tool that you end up using eventually and explain how to use them. Also basic features of DaVinci Resolve. So now if you're still here, that means you are familiar with DaVinci Resolve and you have a basic skill of color grading in Resolve. I really hope this one helps you somehow. And at the last, if you need this kind of high quality log and raw footage or any other graded footage, just go to Artgrid, which is today's episode's sponsor. You can get 2 extra free months with the link in the description below. Okay, this is it. If you have any questions about this color grading, don't hesitate to leave the comment below. And if you have any requests for next scenes, also leave the comment below. So today's topic is very much it, and thank you for watching this video. If you like this one, show me a thumb and hit the subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.